Hey guys, my name is Divya. I'm a doctor and I've held a management role with a healthcare company for a while. I've taken a series of management exams in my life. SHRM happens to be one of them. I've been doing a series of videos on my channel to help everybody out in the community get certified. Today's video is definitely dedicated to the SHRM folks. There are less than 10 days left in the winter session of the SHRM period. So if you're taking the exam, the SHRM certification exam in the winter session, you have to take the exam before 15th February 2021, and that's less than 10 days away. So yes guys, this video is dedicated to all of you. So let's get started. Let's get right into the video. If you have 10 days or less left for the exam, let's just say it's about 10 days to make this easier. So if you still have practice exams, post-tests, all these questions left, then guys, please take it in the next couple of days and review your answers. What I want you to do is time your exam, learn from your answers, and then more importantly, the last week is just to review your notes. Don't take exams, don't take long, lengthy mock exams. It's probably not going to help anymore. So what I had done in the last week is that, I stopped taking exams for sure. I was just reviewing my notes, as many topics that I could possibly get through because, all 6 competencies would be a little difficult. And if there were questions that came up on the WhatsApp group or just something that I really wanted to see on a quiz or something, then I would look at the question and answer it. But I would not recommend lengthy 4-hour exams at this point of time, meaning the last week. Take it in the next couple of days if you have 10 days left. If you have a week left, just really focus on your notes because that is what is going to cement that knowledge in your brain. You've been working really, really, really hard up until this point. I know you have. Everybody knows you have. Sometimes it will feel like you didn't put enough. Sometimes you will wish that you could do all the more and put in all these extra hours in the past, but the past is in the past. It happens to everybody. We're all full-time working professionals and we don't get to work as hard as we want to. There's always something else to do. Work, cooking, kids, family, all those things are real responsibilities and they do come up. So don't fret about the past, just focus on this 1 week. Few things that I did want to share with you guys, in this particular video. I've always told you to time all your exams, but in reality, and I've shared this in my previous videos, is that 2 of my exams, I think it was a post-test and one of the initial assessments that I took, I did not time them. I just answered the questions, maybe 5 at a time, maybe 10 at a time, depending on the time I had, to learn from the questions and the places where I made a mistake, or even the ones where I got the answer right, but I didn't time them. I don't recommend this to anybody because this is not the way to take a post-test or an initial assessment or a practice test, but I want to tell you all the truth. So the truth is that I didn't time it, but I really don't recommend this to anybody. What it did do for me is that it gave me the confidence of answering more and more questions, but the timing is always better, guys. A timed practice exam is always that gold standard which you want to achieve if possible. One other thing that I wanted to share during this video is in the last week, I really wanted to study all 5 and 6 days and get in as much as possible. But there were 2 days that I couldn't touch my books at all. So something happened in the family and it wasn't a great event, but I just looked at it as 2 days where I did not stress out my brain. Even though I was feeling guilty and I was feeling bad that I couldn't put in the extra time to study on those 2 days at all, believe me, I couldn't look at my notes at all. I was okay. Like I told myself, hey, maybe this is a little less stressful for the brain and I'm just fulfilling my family responsibilities. And then I studied the rest of the 5 days, or I should say 4 days, because I really took the last day off. In fact, I took the last day and a half off, and I do recommend it too. So the reason for sharing all this, that I wasn't able to study 2 out of the 7 days, is really just giving you some motivation. Life will always have unpredictable, unexpected things. Don't beat yourself up about it. Things will always happen. So if you think that you're going to study every single day in that last week, great. Try to stick to your plan. But if something really goes wrong, don't feel guilty and don't beat yourself about it. Move on, because life is meant to move on. So that's the other thing. Okay, so I did study at least 4 days, and took a day and a half off, as I told you. And that really is the most important tip that I've shared in every single video, almost every single video that I've made for SHRM. Take a day and a half, or even better, the last 2 days before the exam off. It's going to rejuvenate you. It's going to help you think better on the exam. It's going to help you answer those questions faster. And whatever you've studied up until now, it's probably worth it. It's totally worth taking the last day or even the last 2 days off. Sincere recommendation. So I've shared this in my previous video that the last day I did fun stuff with my son who's 4 years old. We did some baking, we did some random coloring, and it was really a nice stress buster. Another thing that people have reached out to me for is, what was it like on the day of the exam? So I've made an entire video on the day of the exam, and I will leave it in the description box below. A few things that I would like to cover, which would be a shorter summary than that detailed video that I made, is that you do need to get a good night's sleep the day prior to the exam. That's the night before is not the time to study, guys. This is an intense exam. It's a huge certification. Please take the time off. Just get a good night's sleep. Get up in the morning, eat a nutritious, heavy breakfast, and then go take the exam. People have asked me whether I took the exam at the exam center, or at home, and it was a remote proctored exam from home. So I had booked an official space for it, which was very near my house, and I had a very good internet connection, which is where I took the exam from. And there are lots of security measures and things that you have to go through, so you should plan for it before you start taking the exam. There were many hiccups that I faced with the remote proctored exam, and again, all the details will be in the video, so do watch that video. Again, the gist of this is that all the security checks were done multiple times during the exam day, but once I was in the exam, there weren't any hiccups. So I could go through the entire exam, the 2 different sections, 2 hours each, thankfully without a problem. But the security checks in the beginning took forever. I think it's supposed to take like 20 minutes to 30 minutes, but it took about 2 hours. So just to give you the heads up on all of that. So even though I've shared so many things about my journey, days I couldn't study, days in the last week I couldn't study, on post-tests I didn't do as well on, or whatever my score was, even then I passed, and I wish that for every single person in this community. We all try to do our best in terms of studying, but the best is really different for everybody because all our circumstances are really, really different. So guys, don't lose hope. Don't lose faith in these last 10 days. Give it all you have, and certain ups and downs will be there as always, even in the last week or the 10 days. Just give it your best, and believe me, the learning, the journey that we have all faced together while taking the SHRM exam is way, way more important than a simple score. Regardless of all this, I wish you all the best, and I want to hear the best of news from everybody, that everybody in the community is getting certified. Once again, I do hope these videos are helping you. Thank you so much for watching.